what is the staffing process, how we recruit staff members. First, I mentioned that we work out manpower requirement. And when we work out manpower requirement, it's not a very easy job. You have to see what all disciplines are to be taught. Say, for instance, in FA, whether it is for visual impaired or for hearing impaired. In FA course, there are certain compulsory subjects, there are certain elective subjects. And even compulsory subjects have different marks. In Pakistan scenario, we find that English carries 200 marks, Urdu carries 200 marks at FA level, Pakistan studies carries 100 marks, Islamic studies carried 100 marks. So when we are working for staff, what would we do? Obviously, the periods which would be required to be taught the course of studies of English would be double than that of Pakistan studies or Islamic studies. So, for if we have to appoint one teacher of Pakistan studies, the two teachers of Urdu and two teachers of science would be English would be required. That proportion. Similarly, we have to see how many classes are there, and if one period of physical education is required for each section, how many sections are there? So, how many physical education instructors, that is PTIs, would be required? Drawing teachers would be required. Science teachers would be required. If we have got hearing impaired class, would we need speech therapist? Let me give you one example from my own personal experience. I When I took over as the principal of the hearing impaired institution, I was surprised to find out that there was not a single speech therapist there. Not that there was somebody was there and it was left. No, on the very table, what we call table of organization and equipment, TO&E, where there is the details of the staffs who can be employed, maximum, which category. In that, there was no mention of speech therapist at all. Strange, isn't it? That and hearing impaired, their main problem is communication. And who's a specialist of communication and speech? Speech therapist. No speech therapist was ever thought to be a part of the teaching staff. Someone who was working out manpower requirement may not be knowing the needs of the students, special needs of the students. So in a short span of time, I convinced the higher authorities and got 4 speech therapists appointed. Reason? You have to be logical. You ought to know which category of staff is required and of what qualification, what experience, what pay scale you would suggest for it. The pay scale should be such that not only you are able to get the qualified staff required for that job, but also that person who gets recruited stays on for a long time because he has the terms and conditions are such that he or she sticks on. So work out the requirement and work out the requirement in the manner that are competitive as far as market is concerned. So that is important for staff management and staff development. Once somebody has worked out manpower requirements, then the next stage is recruitment. How recruitment is to be done. No underhand methods, no safarish, no favoritism, nothing of the sort. There should be proper procedures in place. Okay, for instance, for this job, second demeanor or first demeanor in this subject can apply. Others are not eligible. So one need to work that out. Then what would be the procedure again? Applications would come, they be sorted out. Then shortlisted candidates would be called to appear for. Then number three is selection. Screened out the suitable candidates. We have sorted them out. Then after screening out, we have in place proper procedures. Okay. After shortlisting the candidates, then interviews will be held. Then written test will be held. How the it would be marked, how the merit list will be prepared. For second year, this much marks would be given. For first year, this much marks would be given. Then there would be a separate section for the interview, separate section for this written test, and then ideal is the job which he or she is likely to perform. That demonstration should be arranged. He or she should be asked to deliver the lecture in the class, and then it should not be on the whims of likes or dislike of one person. There should be a panel which should be involved for selection, so that even if somebody has the tendency to favor some, he or she could not. Once the teachers are employed, then right away do not push them into the class. Today they have joined, and today, okay, you go in the workload, these classes are allotted to you, go and take them. No. Even if they are qualified, as I said. I give you an example. I've been the principal of hearing impaired institution for 15 years. 15 years. So even if a MA special education with specialization in hearing impairment would join me, I would not put him in the class in the same week, even, because I know out of my knowledge that these poor students who come from the MA Special Education Allama Iqbal Open University, how much time is spent on them to teach them sign language, which is the language of the students. And in fact, we call that a mother tongue of those students, this sign language. So first step is orientation and orientation. Then the second step is placement. And orientation is done. Some experienced and keen teacher under him, the new teachers, young teachers are placed for a week or so or 10 days. They sit back while that senior teacher is taking the classes. They observe them. Then we start giving them practice in sign language, in micro teaching. Micro teaching means small lessons for smaller duration. Say a period is for 35 minutes. They may be asked to begin with, give the lesson. or teach the students for about 10 or 15 minutes. So orientate them. Once the training and development has been done, then put them in the class for which they are best suited, not the class which is vacant, and push him or her through there. No, suitable class of his age. If the board class is vacant, a young teacher cannot be entrusted with that class. She has to gain experience before taking a board class. So those teachers who are inducted, they should feel good as far as the terms and conditions are concerned. They should be given competitive rates of pay scales and fringe benefits like pick and drop, free pick and drop if you have got college or institutions vehicles, and then the workload competitive. It is not that they have just joined in, so to give them, or is there 7 periods, all 7 periods or 6 periods? No, competitive. They should be strictly watched and evaluated. Supervision or supervisor is very important. Supervision is not a witch hunt. Supervision is not catching hold of somebody unaware. Supervision is not just to catch somebody doing wrong and then admonishing him or shouting at him or serving with warnings, etc. Supervision is giving the feedback to the youngsters so that they can improve their performance. Then, obviously, all employees want promotions, increments at right time. So there should be facilitate them so that they could get promoted when they have an opportunity, when according to the rules and regulation, their turn comes, they should be promoted on merit again. And if the job is transferable from one institution to another, they should be placed at posted at a city where they are more comfortable and easy to perform their job. Especially the female teachers, they are prone to work and more comfortable to work near the home stations.